Welcome to Season 1 of Ciara Talks, where we dive into the minds and methods of high performers. I'm your host, Ciara Louise, and in each episode we will explore just what it takes to think bigger and perform better. Whether you're here to elevate your business, your mindset, or just your daily habits, you've come to the right place. Let's talk high performance. Sharon McNulty, you are very welcome on to Ciara Talks. Now, I personally know the interesting life that you have led, but for anybody who doesn't already know, tell us who you are and what it is that you do.
Oh, Ciara, thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it. So I am a multi-award-winning, internationally renowned professional organiser, and I travel all over the world helping clients transform their home, but ultimately transform their life. And I do this in so many ways. I do it both in person and virtually. However, if I was to take you back around 15 years, I was an overwhelmed mum, a single mum. I had 3 children, and I was frantically trying to keep on top of my home. On the outside, it looked fabulous. If anybody had come into my home, they would have said, sure, there's no problem. But inside, my cupboards were full. I didn't know what was in it. I was frustrated trying to find things, buying the same things over and over again, and I didn't know how to get out of it. And I came upon a book by Condo, and she's the Japanese tidying expert, and I put into practice what she had advised, and it transformed my life in so many ways, not just my home, every part of my life. So I knew I needed to share this, and I helped my sister organise her home, and she said this was fabulous. I helped several friends, and by the time I was finished, I knew this was special. It wasn't just about organising my home. It's never about the stuff. But at that stage, I didn't know that. So I set off then to be trained by Marie Kondo, and I loved it. And I reached her master consultant level. And that gave me an insight into, oh my goodness me, how we can, I suppose, find a solution for the challenges. But I didn't stop there, Ciara. I thought, right, I need to look at behaviour. So I started researching behaviour of behaviour management, how people react in clutter, how they react in their everyday life. And then I realised, no, it's not about the stuff. It's absolutely about what's going on up here.
Yeah.
So that's in a nutshell, in a very long nutshell, that's how I came about doing what I'm doing. And I absolutely love every minute of it.
So did you find a connection then between people's internal mental state and their environment around them?
Not at first. At first, I just thought I was organising and tidying. And then I realised, my goodness, this is magic. I've co-authored 5 books now at this stage.
Wow.
And when I was doing the research for all the books, I realised that sitting amidst, and whenever we talk about clutter, it isn't hoarding. That's not what we're talking about. Clutter is just a messy or disorganised workspace or home. And when we were looking at that, we realised, my goodness me, it's actually affecting us physically, emotionally, and psychologically.
Yeah.
In ways that you would never imagine. And it's having an effect on our pulse or blood pressure or immune system. It exacerbates depression, anxiety. So it has huge impacts just having to search for our stuff.
So when you walk into somebody's home, then can you tell a lot about that person internally by looking at, say, where they store clutter?
Oh, I love that. Oh my goodness me. I really love that. And it's not from a judgment point of view. It's just from an observation. It's love and awareness. I was there myself, Ciara. So whenever I go into somebody's home, there is no judgment whatsoever. I mean, no judgment. I know how things happen, and life just gets busy. So there's no judgment, but I can tell by the way you have people who maybe have, thinking of your home in your kitchen, have all the letters piled up beside the microwave or in a cupboard or in a drawer, and they mean to get it and they just never quite get around it. And I have other people who I know are highly organised people, but just don't have the system to do it. So it is fascinating. It really is.
So the people with the letters, would that be avoidance? Say if they're putting them to the corner and not, I'll get to it. Would that signify a bit of avoidance there? Or what would you see if you saw that?
Well, it tends to be no time, no system. And of course, as the meal comes in, you think, okay, I'll deal with that. And see, a lot of people put it back into the envelope and think, right, I'll put that there because I need it. I don't want to lose that. But then every letter's added to that and added to it and added to it. And so if everything's important, nothing's important.
Yeah.
So what we do is we organise it, declutter and organise it, but then the magic is in the system. We want to make sure that life is as easy as possible. So we put a good system in place that means that whenever the meal comes in, they know exactly what to do with it.
And would different parts of the house represent different things in the individual then as well, or is that?
Oh, we all have something. So whenever I go into, say, a client's home, one client might love shoes and have boxes upon boxes upon boxes of shoes that their partner can't understand why they would have all those shoes. You only have one set of feet. Or in the garage, they might have something, maybe tools. We all have something, maybe books. It doesn't matter what it is, but that we can't really let go of. And of course, those are sentimental as well. Those items, maybe the children's masterpieces or the photographs, or I don't know, maybe items that you've worn that have good memories. You don't really love them. You don't really want to keep them, but you can't let go of them.
You won't wear them again, but they need to be there because they have that memory attached to them. That's actually fascinating. I'd say books would definitely be my, would you call it a downfall? I've got a lot of books.
No, I love books too. So it's not a downfall, not at all. But it's just understanding why you're keeping each of the books. And at first glance, you think, well, why would I need to? I don't have time to go through all that. But everything in our home takes up space. We have to do something with it, either move it, to dust it. We have to look after it. And if we're keeping excess items, it means then that it's starting to feel cluttered, feel overwhelming. And books are one of those. So whenever people are doing the books, I would always say, if you love books and you love them all, keep them all, 100%. But go through them individually. And those that maybe you haven't read, think about, okay, why have I not read them? Has it not resonated with me? Or maybe I haven't got the time. That was a huge thing for me. I just didn't have the time. And then whenever I organised my home, I was able to sit in front of the fire and read a book. And that was beautiful for me. I didn't have time beforehand, or I didn't even have the headspace.
But then when the clutter cleared,
my goodness,
why?
My house now, whenever I walk into my home now, I get this beautiful feeling of I'm home.
Yeah.
This is lovely. And I even will, my children will laugh at me, my girls especially. I will walk around the house and I love my home. I absolutely love it. And there's nothing special in my home, there really isn't. But everything in it is intentional. It's theirs as a purpose, or I love it, or I might need it. And it brings me such joy.
Yeah. Wow, you're making me want to have a session with you. Now, my goodness. What would a session with you look like then?
So very good question, actually. It can look different for different people. I have clients in New York, Manhattan, Canada, Norway, Denmark. So some of them I've been in person. The majority I do virtually. So that is one thing. Or I come to somebody's home. And again, it depends what area they want help with. And whenever people reach out to me, it's not always because they're in overwhelm. Most of them want that up level. They want maybe the hotel feel. They want a walk-in closet that they can see on TVs and they don't really know how they can get. So I will come into somebody's home and have a conversation with them about what they want to achieve, what they want, what's their ideal. And we look at that and then we create it. It doesn't matter if they don't think they can do it. I would always say to them, borrow my belief. I know they can do it.
Wow. That is really fascinating. I know previously you had worked in the neonatal unit. Could we talk about your experience there?
Oh, I love that. So well over 30 years ago, I trained as a midwife, a nurse first and then a midwife. And I very quickly realised neonates were I just loved it, my passion. And so I generally did night duty with them. My children were young at the time, of course, and that suited my family. And I loved it. I used to go into work at night and just think how blessed I was getting to spend time with these wee ones. And yeah, I could have taken them all home with me, of course. And just from there grew my passion. Now, as my children got older, I realised I needed to be at home more. And I trained then to be a health visitor. So it was the same thing. I was going into people's homes, and really from the baby was born until they went to school. And again, I loved it. Absolutely. It gave me a real good understanding of how life is behind the doors, how families live, how the family life is whenever they're doing well, but also how things are whenever there's challenges.
Yeah.
And then whenever we bring the solution in, how we can really transform things. So that gave me a really good idea.
So your purpose must be then in helping people and serving. That's what it sounds like from the process of what you've spoken about so far, that you receive something from, whether it's decluttering or caring.
Yeah.
From giving back.
And I had no notion of leave and health visit, and I loved it. I loved what I was doing. I loved the babies. I loved the families. But this spoke to me. Once I created my own haven, my own transformation, I knew that I could do this for others in a way that not many people can. And I trained then in behaviour. And oh my God, I went over to London to do that, and it was fascinating. So with coaching and with my experience, it just blended beautifully for this.
Yeah. Wow. So then what did your training look like for helping people declutter their minds and their homes? Did you have to do separate parts for the physical decluttering, and then the behavioural part of it as well was learning about, I suppose, people's habits and routines and why they do what they do?
Well, with Marie Condo, it was just the physical.
Okay.
It was how to organise, how to declutter, and we used her system at that stage. And that was really the start for me. That was the springboard for me. I realised that training is fabulous, and then I could build on that. And oh my goodness me, it's fascinating to see then, once I opened myself to the possibilities of, it wasn't just about organising, about folding tea towels. I love this. I absolutely, because I love the psychology of people anyway. And once I added that in, and then also added the meeting people, actually getting into clients' homes and working with them. And I think that's where I've learned so much. Clients show, they open their heart and they open their home to you, but they actually teach you things, and I love that.
And you coming from a space where that is what you needed at one point as well.
Oh, yeah.
You were overwhelmed, and then I suppose you searched for how to deal with that, and then were able to then gift that to other people, saying, I've been where you are, and this is the solution to what you need to do to get to here through your own experience.
Yeah. It gave me a real good understanding of what is stopping people reaching out. And it's very easy for others to say, just do it. We know what to do. But so my mum showed me how to tidy. And in my tidying, and this is how everybody else tidied, in my tidying, you just moved something from one place to the other and cleaned around it. That was it. There wasn't a system. There absolutely wasn't a system. Therefore, I had to keep doing it over and over and over again. And that's how most people do it, actually. Yeah. And they wonder why the house doesn't stay tidy for them. What they need is a system that works for their family. And everybody's different. So we do a bespoke system for everybody. What will work for you wouldn't work for me. You have a baby. I have grown adults now. So it doesn't, the same system won't work in every home. And that's the difference that we bring. We make it work for each client.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in our house, I would do a deep clean once a week. So Sunday, you guys won't see me anywhere because I'm at home doing my deep clean. And because I've got the baby and then I've got the 12-year-old as well, there's a lot of coming and going and in and out. And it seems like the house doesn't stay tidy.
Yeah. That's life too. But you'll find whenever you have it organised and give everything a home, then you can put things back whenever you're finished. And that's a really good start, actually. So if somebody's out there and they're wondering where would I even start, complete a drawer, organise a drawer, put similar things together, and then whenever you're finished using it, put it back. Now, of course, within that drawer, if there's things you know you don't need or you don't use, let it go. And let it go with love. Don't feel guilty. If you don't need it, use it or love it, let it go with love.
And what's next for you then?
Oh my goodness me. Well, I have done a lot of speaking events now over the last week. And I've trained, must be 12 ladies now, and they come as a team with me whenever we go into clients' homes. So for instance, this week, I was on my own on Monday, and it was with a client that I've been with. We're just continually tweaking her home now at this stage. Then I had a virtual client from New York yesterday. And then tomorrow I have another client actually in Norway, and then another virtual client. And then on Saturday, the whole team are going up to a client. We've nearly completed her entire home, and we're just finishing off her bedroom. And that is a joy. In fact, whenever we're finishing off with clients, no matter where they are, you'll find me clapping like a seal. But I get as much out of this as the client does, because I see a shift in them as we go through it. I really do. So next for me is bringing it to more people. On Friday, I'm doing a speaking event as well. I've been asked to speak. So I feel getting the word out to more people at once is just the next stage.
Do you find regression with people, or do the majority of your clients then stick with the organisational skills that you've brought to them?
Well, it's not. It really isn't regression. It's just life's got busy. Life's got in the way. And if we've organised a space, it won't. And they just haven't been able to maintain it. It's not failure. It certainly is. It's just that they need a couple of tweaks. That system didn't work for them. So, and it won't take as long to do again. It definitely won't.
Okay. I'd love to know what the most interesting thing to you personally is about what you do.
Oh, I think it's watching somebody as we're working together and seeing that shift. You can actually physically see it in them. Their shoulders drop. They almost get that stance of, I can actually do this. Whereas at the start, before they've even reached out to me, more often than not, they think, I can't do this. Sure, I've tried so many times, it's never going to work. But that shift, and it's actually visually fabulous to see, because you can see the whole human body and how they take ownership of their space then. And then they start making suggestions, which I love. I want people to make it their own. I want them to change it after I go, to think, no, this works better for me. So for me, that's the winner. Whenever I see them, it's empowering them to empower their own spaces.
And then there's the connection between their space and their life as well.
Yeah, you're empowering their life. Absolutely. And if they can do that after all these years of wanting to do it and not getting on top of it, what else can't they do? I had another client actually who, she asked me, could we organise just underneath her stairs? And the stairs was in the middle of her home. And we did. And we did that so successfully. And that was virtually. And that client, we created a nook for that client. And she then created her first book. And it was an award-winning book. It was a bestseller. And she went on to write further books than that. And since that, she's given up her career and started her own business. She had clarity of mind. Once she cleared that space, she was able to create whatever she wanted to do.
So that one small shift had such a huge impact on her whole life.
Who would have known that creating one nook in her home would have had that impact? But it did. And so she would easily say that that was the catalyst for...
It stemmed from there.
Yeah.
So would you say then that, like, energetically, if things are stuck, it's stagnant energy within. And once that shifts, it shifts something.
You can feel, in fact, everybody can feel that room. It might be the box room where you just close the door. Everything
Shove
goes
everything in, yeah.
Everything goes
We've
in.
all got one of those.
We all. And so you put it in there and you think, I'm going to sort that out at some stage, and just never quite get at it. And then there's other things, maybe the paints or wallpaper or the Christmas decorations go in, and they think, oh gosh, whenever you open that door, you get that feeling. And that's the energy, that's the energetic feeling that you get. And you close the door again and you think, I'll do that tomorrow.
Yeah.
And so that's actually what it is. It's the vibrations within that space.
Wow. Mm-hmm. And I wonder, has that got to do with unprocessed things as well? Thinking of it from like a psychological point of view, is that things that are stored maybe in the subconscious, and then that represents putting things in a corner, out of sight, out of mind?
If you think about what's in that room, in most people's rooms, there's items that have memories, and they may not be good memories, but they're memories that you feel you need to keep, or in order to actually let them go, you have to deal with the memories. You have to awaken those memories to let them go. So of course they're going to keep them in a corner. Or there's items that you don't really need, and you think, oh, I'll keep that in someday. And of course, what are you doing? You're not respecting those items because they're just piled in.
And then they give you reminders of your past.
Yeah.
I know there are things that I have that are from a really good time in my life, and they're there for no other purpose other than they're from a particular time or a particular person, and there's that sentimental value. I mean, I have a friend as well who has a couple of items that were from a not great part of her life, but she still holds on to them and has them, obviously, because she's still attached to that time period.
Yeah. Absolutely. And that can keep somebody stuck. Yeah. And that's very common, actually. Whenever we're going through people's paperwork, quite often there's, or even the clothes, quite often there's items or papers from maybe past relationships. And then my clients ask themselves, okay, why am I keeping them? Are they adding to my life? Is it good memory? Maybe not. If it's not, do I really need to keep them? So it's just processing why you're keeping something and why you can't let go. Now, it might be that they want it. And if you want to keep it, I say keep it. There's no pressure to let things go.
Yeah, I suppose, yeah. And everybody can resonate with that. I mean, I'm bringing it back to my own experience again. So I moved house in, it must have been summer 2023, and I hired a huge skip. And anything that wasn't absolutely necessary for myself, for my son, I threw out. And it felt liberating. It was almost like a weight lifted. I felt lighter, not because I didn't have stuff, but because I didn't have to think about anything, because it was all gone and it's all new and it's, everything's gone.
That's cathartic, isn't it? It really is. It's the whole letting go. And clients will actually say they feel lighter once they do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because most of us have filled those 9 bin bags. We've gone on a real rampage and we've thought, right, we're going to do out the wardrobe, and we've filled 9 bin bags and tied it, brought it to the charity shop, or as one of my clients did, drove around with it for 3 weeks before she let it go, and actually brought things back in again. So brought it to the charity shop. But the feeling that you have is just amazing. It really is.
Like a release.
Oh, it's a release. It really is. And then what you're doing is you're making room for in your life for more beautiful things to come in.
Now, in saying that, I had to not look. I had to just grab and dump and grab and dump and grab and dump. I'd been in this house for many years, to the point where I was, if I look through it, I will get sentimental and I will want to keep this and I'll want to keep that. And then it will just come to the next house and it'll just be there with no purpose. So it was very much blindfold on, grab and dump, grab and dump.
You're brave.
I've only done it once.
Most clients will actually bring it, put in a box and think, I'm going to sort through that whenever I get to my new house. And they'll put it up into the attic. And what generally happens is they'll move it from that attic to the next attic and the next attic.
Yeah.
And then you feel the attics coming down about. So it's so difficult to actually stop because you're so busy whenever you're moving house. If anybody's moving house, I would advise them to do it long before you put the house on the market. Long before you're looking for your next house. Because if you can make this house as fabulous as you can, you're then going to it the next house as fabulous as well.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're renting or buying, doesn't matter.
You'll step into it as you are. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that very much.
Mm-hmm.
So I know you gave some advice to our viewers on where to start, but have you got any other tips or tricks that might be useful to anybody watching today?
Yeah. So don't overwhelm yourself, but keep the momentum going. I would say put a date in your diary. Just like if you were meeting a friend for lunch, put a date in your diary and stick to that. You are definitely worth that time. And then just get started. Start somewhere small. Start with a drawer. If you're doing your bedroom, start in the bedside drawer and take everything out, give it a clean, and then put similar things together and only put back what you're going to use there. So you'll find we actually have a lot of stuff all over the place. So whenever I go to somebody's home, if you think of where you keep your coats, you have coats maybe in the wardrobe in your bedroom, in the downstairs porch, in the front porch, in the boot of the car, in the back of the chair, over the treadmill. So, and then whenever you go shopping, you think, oh, I need a coat. I don't have a lot of coats. So what you want to do is you want to bring all your coats together. So it's the same with every item in your home. You want to bring similar items together. And then and only then you'll see how much of that item you have. And then whenever you're thinking about where to put it, the likes of your bedside table, think, what do I need there that will make my day, my night run so much smoother? And that's all you put back in there. Don't stuff it. You can absolutely bring things to another part of the house. And I suppose, yes, if you are, some people don't allow shoes in the house, say, but don't want it full, the hallway full of shoes. Find somewhere that makes sense for each item. Absolutely.
Okay. So there you go, guys. I'm going to ask you another question that isn't so much related to what you do, but you mentioned about how you just knew this was right for you and you just had that feeling. So for anybody who is maybe struggling to find their purpose right now, is there anything that you could share that would maybe give them a bit of guidance as to what that feels like or how to get there?
Oh, that's a really good question. For all those years as a midwife and health visitor, I didn't know that life could be any other way. I worked month in, month out, and I just went to work. I loved it, so I went to work and really enjoyed it. But the difference was in that feeling, in that gut feeling. As soon as I knew that this felt different, I wanted more of it. So if you could follow your passion, if you could think of what your passion is, what you're good at, how you can either help yourself, help others, and get that amazing feeling, you can absolutely then start building on that. I surrounded myself with the right people, and that's so important. You want wing women, wing men, and just there to nurture you, to keep you right, of course, because it's a big step. I stepped away from my job completely, and there was days I thought, have I done the right thing? But I just knew in here that it was right for me, and I knew things would work out because it was bigger than me. And whenever I started, of course, I wasn't even on social media. And whenever I started this, I used to think, oh, I can't go on Facebook or I can't go on Instagram, the thought of it. And somebody says to me one day, Sharon, don't be so selfish. Somebody out there needs to hear this. Somebody's stuck today, and by you going in, that will help them. That was like a light bulb going off for me. Now I can, it doesn't bother me to speak on a stage with hundreds of people, because I know, even if it's only one person, I will change somebody's life with this information the way it changed mine.
So look for that thing that you could do every day and know that you could share that with somebody else and they could make a career out of that too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And what I do wasn't a thing. It wasn't a career years ago.
No.
But it's so needed. It just, we didn't know why we felt the way we did. And I suppose these days we're now buying more and it's quite a disposable time. but people aren't letting go of it. So they're buying and buying and buying. It's quite low cost, a lot of it, and just holding on to it. And so it's such a needed career now.
Absolutely. Things hold less value now. You see it everywhere. There's so many things made of plastic and everything is mass produced at the moment. Everything.
I know. My daughter has a capsule wardrobe and it is fabulous. I didn't think I would ever be able to manage it, but she manages it beautifully. And everything that has come into her wardrobe and her home actually has come in with intentional feeling. She won't let anything in past her doorway unless she absolutely loves it or she needs it. Whenever I started this, my children were teens, so they didn't quite get it. But once they saw the change in my home and in me, they each came to me at different times and said, "Mum, will you help me organise my..." And now the life skills that they have are just fabulous. They can take that anywhere. And in fact, the girls especially have moved quite a few times. Now they could do this with their eyes closed. Absolutely. So it's not just me that it changed. The ripple effect for everybody else was amazing.
Will they follow in your footsteps, do you think, your daughters?
Well, interesting. They've each helped me out at different times. They are brilliant. And they each keep a really tidy home.
How could they not?
I know, but considering that they didn't grow up with it, it was teenagers whenever they came, and we've been doing it now for 14 years. They absolutely love it. So my youngest daughter, actually, that's what she's doing. She's working with a business who do organising in their business, and she is fabulous at it. So she takes people on tours of the factory they call it lean there, and it's just fabulous to watch. It is brilliant, really is. And then my son, of course, he's still meticulous now. Wasn't that way at the start, but brilliant now.
And you've brought that into their lives.
Oh yeah. And I know that will go through the next generation and the next generation. It's just knowing that you can do it and then making the first step to do it.
And if anybody wants to look further into what you do or to book a session with you, where can they find you, Sharon?
Well, I'm on all socials at Joyful Spaces, and you can email me at hello@joyfulspaces.co.uk. No obligation, just reach out, and if I can help you, give you a bit of advice or signpost you, I'd be delighted to do so. And then we can hop on a call if they want. But just even reaching out, there'll be no judgment, there'll be no problem, honestly.
And there you go, Sharon. You have been the most wonderful guest. I can't thank you enough for coming on to the show.
Thank you so much.
That was amazing. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of Ciara Talks. If you loved this conversation, then share it, tag us, and let us know what your favourite insight from today was. Each season, the guest with the most amount of views will be invited back on for the next season, so your support could help bring them back here again. Sponsorship opportunities are now open, so if you or your brand feel aligned with Ciara Talks, then reach out at admin@ciaralouise.life. I'll see you all at the next episode.